So how do you explain how some clinical trials enroll quickly and others sit stagnant for months or years? Or how do you explain how patients say, this drug is changing my life or changing my child's life, but yet they're not meeting their primary endpoint? How do drugs get left on the lab room floor? And why are patients clamoring to get into more clinical trials for the latest drug and possibly the most promising drug for their condition? Something is missing. Safe and effective drugs and adequate and well-controlled clinical trials do not necessarily equal approval. Sometimes they don't even equal accurate data. So 6 years ago, I started on a journey with my then 2-year-old son. That journey would profoundly change how I viewed drug development and my role in that process. So the first step in my journey involved a call from my mother. Don't all interesting journeys start with a call from our mother? And she said, you know, I saw this TV show. That's another interesting line. I saw this TV show about this very rare enzyme deficiency called Hunter syndrome. And I think that your 2-year-old may have it. So I went to the most respected and scholarly doctor that I knew, that I still know, called Dr. Google. And Dr. Google told me 3 things. He said, you will watch your child lose every ability he has, from walking, talking, eating, recognizing you as his mother. 2, he told me that he will die by his early teens. And 3, it said there's no cure. So what do I do with that? I go to what I know, which is I'm a healthcare lawyer and a strategy consultant by profession. So I needed a strategy, of course. How do I save my son? I needed a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And plan A was, I need to get my son in a clinical trial. A new clinical trial was enrolling, and luckily 5 years ago, we got him in that clinical trial. So the strategies that you use every day may be very different than mine. They may be, I'm designing a clinical trial, I'm trying to enroll patients, I'm trying to see how I can incorporate patients into clinical process. But in the end, the mission of all of us is the exact same. It is how do we get safe and effective drugs through approval and into the hands of patients so it can affect common conditions or sometimes very devastating ones. So walk with me on this journey over the next few days where we talk about better strategies for how to incorporate patients in clinical trials and the entire drug development process. Because really, let's move from patient-centered clinical trials to hopefully we can move to patient-partnered clinical trials. Because patient partnership is not only good policy, it's actually good business. So in a few moments, I'm going to introduce our patient panel, and they will give us their insights at the end of each session, because really that's what we're here for, is to hear that patient perspective and to support that engagement. And in that same vein, I am excited to announce a new initiative of our organization, Saving Case and Friends, to support patient engagement along the continuum of drug development. And that is Ask 100 Patients. We want to encourage industry and academics to ask patients before they design their trials, before they launch their trials, how can their clinical trial be designed better? How could measures better capture the impact of treatment? What endpoints impact the daily lives of patients? What burdens might prevent patients from enrolling in trials? Ask. So if you have not graduated yet to patient-partnered clinical trials, start by asking the question. Ask 100 patients.